This guide is intended to help you out with creating a picture frame for a 3.5" by 5" picture. Notice I talked about inches, so in our units we need to make sure that we change them to inches, and you should see your grid change from millimeters to inches as well. And you'll see that because it's going by 1.25, 2.5, 3 3/4, and so on. So we want a 3.5" by 5 picture frame. We need a 3.5" by 5 picture. There we go. And not only that, but we need the exterior part of the frame. So to do that, we've got the sketch rectangle, and I'll go a little bit wider than the picture itself. I'm going to go 2 unit squares off of here, so it's going to be a 4.5" by 6" frame. Okay. So taking a look here, we've got that, and we've got our picture, we've got the frame. Instead of 2 dimensions, let's go ahead and make this 3. I'll take this, and it's going to go up 0.75 inches. Actually, it's pretty thick. Let's go ahead and go down to a 1/2 inch. So we're going to go 1/2 inch on the frame. And now I need to be able to make this an actual picture frame. Right now it's just a block that I can't do much with. So I'm going to flip it underneath, and I'm actually going to give myself some cutout. So what I mean by that is the picture frame needs something to rest on. So there's a little inlet that I'm going to create. That's going to be a 1/10 inch by 3.5. A 1/10 inch by 4.9, since I've already taken off a 1/10 inch. And I'll do that all the way around here. 1/10 inch by 4.9, and there we go. 1/10 inch by 3.3, since I've taken off a 1/10 inch on each of the sides. There are multiple ways that you can do this, but this is how I'm choosing to. Okay. All right, so it's ready to go, and I need to make sure that I select it carefully and extrude. So I'm going to extrude this all of the 1/2 inch, so it cuts it all the way out. Okay. And no more interior. Okay. Now the problem with that is that there is also no way of resting the picture. So to do that, we can extrude those pieces that we had created. And I'm going to extrude them 0.2 inch. And it's going to be a little bit challenging, but you can take it and move it down 0.2 inch. And notice that that red there is showing up. That means that we're cutting away instead of building up. There we go. Bring this down 0.2. Now if you take too much away, it's going to sit in too deep, and you'll have a lot of wiggle room. I found that 0.2 inch is sufficient. There we go. Then I'm going to delete all of the extra pieces. I don't really need these anymore. Okay, so looking at it here, we've got a picture frame. So deleting out all the scraps, take a look, very basic, but a picture frame no less. Now, I'll save this because this will be a frame template that you can go ahead and download, be able to mess with, and start to customize. Now, I want to customize this a little bit. The first way that I'm going to customize this is adding some curvature, some bevel to the edge. So I'm actually going to fillet the sides by selecting the side that I want and by 1/4 inch. All the way around, hopefully. Sometimes Autodesk can be a little bit finicky. There we go. So now looking at it here, I've got a picture frame. And remember that we want to create a unique frame. This is pretty basic, pretty bland as it is right now. So to add some flair to it, we can add text. And this is probably one of my favorite parts of this. So I'm going to click on the text button, and I'm going to start at the very bottom here, and you'll see why. I'll zoom over so that you can see it, and I'll click on, or I'll hover over top of the edit text here and change it. And got some text there. We can change the height of this. Oh, there we go. Make it bold. Change the font. Notice that if you choose some of the fonts that shows up as rectangles, what that means is that it's not supported. So what you want also is you want something that is going to be thick for a nice solid print. Like this right here has a pretty thin line. It'll print, but it's not going to be very sturdy. Something like this here. So Cambria is nice. If I go ahead and click on OK, and now we're going to extrude the text. Let me move this over a little bit so you can see it. We're going to extrude it up. Now notice, remember that we went up a 1/2 inch, so we want to be able to have some extrusion above this. So I'm going to go up 2/10 of an inch above the frame. There we go. And now each one of these is its own piece. So I need to hold down on a Mac, you hold down the command. On a PC or a Chromebook, you're going to hold down the control. I'm going to select each one of these, and now it's time to move them. I'm setting it up here so that it makes it easy to move. Take a look here. This is where I want it. I can mess around with it a little bit. I actually want it up. So I'll take it and move it up. There we go. Delete out the text that we originally put in there. And some would say, cool, we're done. Well, actually we're not, because what we just did was we added a bunch of text to a frame that's all in 3 dimensions. If you look at the bottom of the text, or bottom of the frame rather, it's sticking out. And so you're not going to be able to put a picture in there because you have text in the way. One trick to avoid that is by deleting it out. And to delete it out, I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle. And extrude 0.2 inches and create another rectangle right over top of it. And extrude that one. Be careful not to extrude too much because you don't want to extrude and delete out the text. But once you're done, you can delete all of the rectangles, and notice here that you have a place to rest that picture. Pretty cool stuff. You can see here, make sure that you check out all of your angles, make sure that it's all good. Everything's clean. And to finish it up, it may be helpful when you print it out on the printer using Mattercontrol. You will get some drooping here because you're not going to get support created. You'll get support created if you choose to do that on the letters, but not on the frame itself. So what I did was I actually went in and created a support that was just short of the frame, so that way I could break away when the print was done. So I can go up here, and I know it's 0.2 inches, so I can go 0.18, sorry. And notice you've got a little bit of a gap there. And so I would do that all the way around just to make it a little bit easier for me to get a good quality print. If you don't put these extra little supports in here, you're going to get some sagging, you're going to have to do a little bit more sanding or a little bit of fine tuning and refining along the way. But this is how to create a frame. Hopefully this helps, and good luck.